Chinese state-owned enterprises have nothing to do, employees on leave. 3 black swans emerge consecutively before the third plenum, staggering investors. What does it indicate? Massive fish jumping out of water in Shandong sparks speculation. The more hollow, the louder the bluster. Has something major happened in the CCP's military? It's all covered in today's China Truths. Chinese state-owned enterprises have nothing to do, employees on leave. The economic recession in China has severely impacted state-owned enterprises, SOEs, rendering many without sufficient work. In a recent development, the Sichuan Shudao Urban and Rural Investment Group, a major SOE in Sichuan, issued a notice stating that all management staff should return home due to a lack of ongoing projects. Similarly, Tianjin Construction Engineering General Contracting Company, Limited has initiated an intermittent standby for its project department members starting June 1st. During this period, the company will not provide any benefits or performance bonuses, and it will terminate any expiring contracts. These measures have brought these well-known real estate SOEs into the public eye as they take extended leaves and reduce their workforce to cope with the downturn. Echoing this trend, Wang Yong, an employee under a pseudonym at a key SOE cement factory in Zhaozhuang City, Shandong Province, shared with NTD that his workplace is also indirectly cutting down its workforce by offering leave. Previously, the cement factory had asked employees to voluntarily go home and rest, paying only the base salary. This strategy led to nearly all employees leaving, with only the director and deputy director remaining. Wang Yong explained, after everyone registered, seeing that only the leadership was left, the factory could no longer operate as usual. Thus, they opted to continue granting leave. The downturn at the cement factory has had direct repercussions on the local economy, significantly affecting fiscal revenues and resulting in a 4-month salary backlog for local civil servants. Amid these fiscal strains, bus services in various parts of China have halted, prompting protests from bus drivers over unpaid wages. Mr. Liu, from Shenyang, Liaoning Province, reported to NTD that numerous local bus systems are unable to sustain operations, leading to layoffs and salary reductions. He detailed, the bus services in Zhengzhou, Hunan, have already shut down, and their wages were slashed by 40%, causing significant unrest and effectively forcing employees to resign and find other jobs. He highlighted that these drivers are formally employed, and the government's efforts to dismiss them have incited widespread discontent. They proposed that you find your own job for 10 years, after which you would need their approval to return. This is deceptive. Moreover, he pointed out that despite many bus drivers' reluctance to resign, their wages have been maliciously reduced. He concluded, now, they cut your salary, allowing you to work only 15 days a month without completing your tasks, leaving you without sufficient income. 3 black swans emerge consecutively before the third plenum, staggering investors. Leading up to the Chinese Communist Party's third plenum, policy uncertainty has spiked, with a series of black swan events unfolding. Chinese yuan hits 7-month low against US dollar. According to Caixin, on June 21st, the Chinese yuan, RMB, closed against the US dollar, USD, at 7.2613, marking an 8 basis point decline from the previous day. The central parity rate was set at 7.1196, a slight 4 basis point drop, with a significant difference of 1409 basis points from the closing rate. Since mid-March 2024, the RMB has been under pressure, depreciating by about 0.7% to nearly 7.25. Since June 11, it has remained above 7.25, while the central parity rate has oscillated around 7.11, keeping the spread above 1,400 points. The People's Bank of China maintains the RMB within a narrow range, suggesting managed depreciation to handle economic pressures. Analysts from Maybank noted that the bank is cautious about raising the central parity rate above 7.12, signaling strong control over the RMB to avoid speculative pressures. The spot RMB rate opened at 7.2575 per USD, dropping slightly by 2 basis points from the previous day and was 1.98% below the central parity. In overnight transactions, it weakened to 7.2621 per USD. Foreign capital exits, domestic capital flees. Reuters reports that this week, amid a 7-month low in the Chinese yuan, stock investment inflows into China have also reversed. Since February 2023, foreign capital had re-entered the Chinese stock market, but this month, it turned into net selling. Through the northbound Shanghai-Hong Kong Stock Connect, 33 billion renminbi, about $4.54 billion, was pulled out, ending a 4-month trend of net inflows. Domestic investors have transferred 129 billion renminbi, approximately $17.8 billion, to Hong Kong via southbound channels, showing a shift from the domestic market to higher-yielding assets in nearby regions. Analysts note that as mainland Chinese investors seek better returns through limited offshore opportunities, and as companies prepare to distribute annual dividends, there has been an increase in RMB deposits in Hong Kong, adding to the downward pressure on the yuan. Gary Tan, a portfolio manager at Allspring Global Investments in Singapore, noted a decline in market sentiment towards China due to unsatisfactory macroeconomic data over the past month. After months of waiting for the government to introduce further stimulus measures, particularly to support the ailing real estate sector, investor patience has worn thin. The Shanghai Composite Index rose 20% from early February to mid-May but has since declined by 6%. Analysts recommend that investors pause to consider various factors, including the potential for interest rate cuts by the People's Bank of China and the economic and fiscal policies expected to be outlined at the upcoming third plenary session of the CCP. What does it indicate? Massive fish jumping out of water in Shandong sparks speculation. On June 20th, near the Guli Bridge in Xintai City, Taiwan, Shandong Province, there was a remarkable sight as a large number of fish were seen vigorously leaping from the water, creating a visually stunning scene. A video that went viral shows that, in the evening of the 20th, around the same area, numerous fish were energetically jumping out of the water, causing water to splash everywhere. After splashing, they would fall back into the water with a heavy impact, pause for a moment, and then leap out again. In response to queries about this occurrence, a staff member from the Guli town government mentioned to the mainland media that teams from the local water resources and environmental protection departments have been sent to determine the exact cause of this behavior, but no conclusive results have been reported yet. He suggested that the phenomenon might be due to the high temperatures recorded that day, which ranged between 35 and 36 degrees Celsius, potentially leading to oxygen depletion in the water. An article on NetEase's Exploration Diary featured comments from an experienced angler who presented a different perspective. He said, "From my years of fishing experience, the way these fish collectively splashed doesn't seem typical of just an oxygen shortage. Generally, fish seem lethargic and weak when oxygen levels are low, not active and excited as observed. This kind of energetic and uniform jumping by the entire group suggests a response to a significant stimulus, which is quite uncommon. This incident has raised concerns among the local population." The online community has actively participated in the debate, with comments such as, "Animals are sending us a warning, it's better to believe it." Some predicted that an earthquake could be on the way because this type of event also occurred during the Tangshan earthquake in 1976. It might be wise to activate earthquake alerts on your phones. Another said, "I recall that similar natural phenomena were reported on TV news before the Wenchuan earthquake. We should observe the behavior of other animals." One said bluntly, "It's hard to make a definitive call. Don't just go by what so-called experts say. It's prudent to remain cautious." According to public information, the Tangshan earthquake, one of the deadliest earthquakes in modern history, struck Tangshan in Hebei Province, China, on July 28, 1976. Measuring 7.5 on the Richter scale, the earthquake occurred at 3:42 a.m. local time and was followed by a major 7.1 magnitude aftershock 16 hours later, causing widespread additional damage and casualties. The impact of the earthquake was catastrophic. It virtually flattened Tangshan, a city that had a population of approximately 1 million people at the time. Official reports estimated the death toll to be around 242,000 people, but some sources suggest the number could have been as high as 655,000. Millions more were injured and left homeless, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. The more hollow, the louder the bluster. Has something major happened in the CCP's military? On June 2, 2024, Dong Jun, the Chinese Minister of Defense, made a statement during the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore, asserting, "Anyone daring to separate Taiwan from China will be utterly crushed and meet their own doom." His choice of words, utterly crushed and meet their own doom, is notably severe. Those not acquainted with the internal politics of the Chinese Communist Party might find such language initially intimidating. However, a brief examination of the history of Dong Jun's predecessor indicates that those who issue the loudest threats are often the most vulnerable. Further analysis of the CCP military's history of corruption reveals that Dong Jun's severe rhetoric merely reflects the outward toughness of an inherently weak military. His predecessor, Li Shangfu, was significantly more renowned than Dong Jun. Li was the first high-ranking CCP general to face U.S. sanctions and was a prominent second-generation CCP member with the rank of general. Li was appointed by the National People's Congress on March 12, 2023, as a state councilor, member of the Central Military Commission, and Minister of Defense. This position made him a leader within the CCP's party, military, and national structure. On June 4, 2023, Li delivered his first major speech at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore since his appointment. In his speech, Li stated, "If anyone dares to separate Taiwan from China, the Chinese CCP military will not hesitate for a moment, will fear no adversaries, and will bear any cost to steadfastly protect national sovereignty and territorial integrity." Li specifically mentioned the United States, emphasizing that a severe conflict between China and the U.S. would result in unbearable pain for the world. BBC reported Li's remarks under the headline "Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu sends strong signals at the Shangri-La Dialogue." However, just over 2 months after these assertive comments, Li Shangfu suddenly disappeared at the end of August 2023. Journalists globally sought information about the whereabouts of the Chinese Defense Minister, Li Shangfu. The CCP procrastinated until October 24, 2023, when the National People's Congress finally announced that Li Shangfu was relieved of his duties as state councilor, member of the Central Military Commission, and Minister of Defense. This made Li the shortest-serving Minister of Defense in the 75-year history of the CCP. The reasons for his dismissal were not disclosed by the National People's Congress. However, it is widely understood that Li Shangfu was dismissed for betraying Xi Jinping and being identified as a severely corrupt individual. Rocket Force scandal implicates several high-ranking generals. After the CCP's 2 sessions in March 2023, a major scandal surfaced within the Rocket Force, the strategic military branch designated for operations against Taiwan and the USA. The top commanders, handpicked and favored by the party leader, were dismissed suddenly. The scandal quickly implicated Li Shangfu, former Minister of the Equipment Development Department of the Central Military Commission, and spread to other military divisions like the Joint Staff Department, Strategic Support Force, Army, Air Force, Navy, and key military industries. Numerous high-ranking generals and executives disappeared under mysterious circumstances. In the same year, Liu Yaishou, son-in-law of former CCP National Chairman Li Xinyan, former political commissar of the National Defense University, and a CCP general, was secretly sentenced to life imprisonment due to severe corruption. the grave corruption cases within the military that came to light after the CCP's 20th National Congress are connected to the extensive corruption investigations involving more than 170 generals that Xi Jinping initiated following the 18th National Congress. However, the cases post-20th Congress proved even more detrimental for Xi because the implicated senior generals had all been personally elevated and relied upon by him as part of his stringent anti-corruption campaign. These individuals were effectively part of what is referred to as Xi's own army. Xi's elite military force transformed into a den of tigers, with internal strife and discord spreading in all directions. Tensions became visible within the military commission's leadership. Xi Jinping, as chairman, and Zhang Youxia, as the first vice-chairman, found their relationship strained following the investigations, particularly because Li Shangfu, one of Zhang's closest confidants and previously promoted under Zhang's patronage, was a primary target. This situation raised questions about the trust and loyalty between Xi and Zhang, with indications that genuine mutual trust might be impossible. Exposing flaws in the military exercises around Taiwan. On May 23 and 24, 2024, the Chinese Communist Party's military unexpectedly conducted military exercises around Taiwan without prior warning. The real purpose was to intimidate Taiwan's newly inaugurated president Lai Ching-te. However, these exercises inadvertently revealed several military flaws, likely increasing the CCP senior leadership's concerns. Why would that be the case? Let's delve deeper into the inherent issues within the military itself. Firstly, the crash of a CCP drone. This incident occurred on May 22 in the Bashi Channel area, a section of the strategically significant Luzon Strait. Su Ziyun, the head of the Defense Strategy and Resources Institute at Taiwan's National Institute for Defense Studies, suggested that the aircraft was very likely a military drone. The location of the crash, about 69 nautical miles from Taiwan, aligns with the areas reported by Taiwanese authorities as frequented by CCP drones. Secondly, CCP fighter jets were targeted by Taiwan's Air Force. On May 24, Taiwan's Ministry of Defense released a video showing Taiwan's F-16V fighters locking their radars onto CCP's J-16 fighters and H-6 bombers. With a simple press of a button, Taiwanese pilots could launch air-to-air missiles to bring down the CCP aircraft. This not only demonstrates the prowess of Taiwan's Air Force and deters the CCP but also strengthens the Taiwanese public's confidence in their national defense. The third point of concern for the CCP leadership is the stock market's reaction during the military exercises. Taiwan's stock market rose, whereas China's fell. On May 23, the major indices of China's stock market collectively dropped, with the Shanghai Composite Index falling more than 1.5% to just above the 3,100-point level. A total of 4,578 stocks declined, indicating a widespread downturn. In contrast, Taiwan's stock market closed steadily, with the weighted index reaching 21,607 points, an increase of 55 points or 0.26%. Moreover, during the exercises, a 4,463-ton CCP giant tugboat sank off the northeastern coast of Zhoushan in Zhejiang. The CCP officials did not reveal the sinking's cause, which led to widespread speculation. The attempt to intimidate Taiwan through military exercises backfired, likely leading to an unexpected setback for the CCP leadership. Serious issues with high-tech weapons. In addition to the above issues, the problems associated with the CCP's advanced weaponry are startling. For instance, on May 29, 2024, Tsai Ming-yen, the director of Taiwan's National Security Bureau, addressed rumors about a CCP-093-class nuclear submarine that sank in the Yellow Sea in August 2023, resulting in the deaths of 55 crew members, including the captain and 21 officers. In October 2023, Daily Mail, citing a classified UK report, mentioned that on August 21, 2023, in the Yellow Sea, CCP nuclear submarine 093-417 tried to keep pace with British and American submarines but was caught on its own naval vessels, causing a system malfunction, and an oxygen system failure led to the death of 55 crew members, including the captain and 21 officers. Additionally, on August 4, 2022, the CCP's rocket force launched 11 Dongfeng missiles towards Taiwan's northern, southern, and eastern maritime areas. 5 of these missiles landed in Japan's exclusive economic zone, marking the first instance of CCP ballistic missiles entering Japan's exclusive economic zone, triggering strong protests from Japan. Furthermore, on August 26, 2020, the rocket force launched 4 medium-range ballistic missiles into the South China Sea, but only 2 hit their targets, with the other 2's whereabouts unknown. Later, it was discovered by many Chinese citizens that 1 missile fell in Guangxi, while the other remained unaccounted for. On January 6, 2024, Bloomberg quoted informed sources stating that there is severe corruption within the CCP's rocket force and the overall defense industry. One source listed examples of corruption within the CCP military, including missiles filled with water instead of fuel, and covers of missile silos in western China being ineffective at opening. Dr. Wang Yuan, a former member of the Politburo Standing Committee and the Secretary of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, noted that many CCP officials who often publicly speak harshly are actually devoid of integrity, engaging in corruption and debauchery behind the scenes. Do not be misled by the harsh rhetoric of CCP officials. Since Jiang Zemin served as the chairman of the Central Military Commission, not only did Jiang himself lead in corruption and debauchery, he also allowed his high-ranking military officers to engage in such activities, turning the CCP military into a marketplace of power, money, and sex transactions, making it the most corrupt military in the world. To this day, after Xi Jinping's 10-year campaign against corruption in the military tigers are still being captured in large numbers. When will it ever end? The answer is never. Because absolute power inevitably leads to absolute corruption. She has repeatedly emphasized the party's absolute leadership over the military. Behind this absolute leadership lies absolute corruption. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.